Hey everybody, this is Alahhdriiel, Joseph Irwin, and Dante.
Hello, welcome.
So good to be with you. We just wanted to quickly share some intense downloads and just kind of plant some really epic seeds. We met through the internet, and I've watched him channeling, and it was like, oh my god, I love this guy. And then recently, our friend passed, and he kind of randomly decided to come to this town, and I met him there physically. I just recognized him. I was like, hey, I've seen you on the internet. And then we became like best friends, like Insta. And then we manifested ourselves at this festival together. We're at California World Fest right now, as we speak, at the festival, in it, music happening all around us.
Best
super
music.
Super interesting
So good.
people. Amazing music. Great festival. Definitely go next year if you've never been. So real quick, wanted to talk about just like some of the most valuable things. First one that comes to mind would be love.
Love.
Obviously. And that's the triangulating force that resolves the duality. That's why all the great masters teach love. So the most important thing we could possibly do is to bring up the concept of real universal love, meaning the love that you feel for nature, or the love you feel for a child, or the love you feel for a puppy. You know, that really, really neutral but intense kind of love. That's what we want to be tuning to, and that's what actually gets us to space and advanced technology and all these crazy things that seem kind of separate. Like, all we have to do is love. That's the path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And love is also conceptualized in so many ways in our world, though higher beings say that the fabric of reality really is love, or love light, and that as we raise our frequency, love is the most natural means, because it's actually tuning us into the universe itself, which is based on unconditional love and made of unconditional love. And in higher dimensions, higher octaves of the universe, everything happens through that force of love.
Totally. So it's like, if you're not syncing in with love, you're literally out of sync with the intelligence that creates the universe, which is really intense, actually. And how that manifests in your life is things don't go as well for you. You're around people that maybe you don't like. You're doing things that maybe you don't like. So it's basically like, you just don't want that. Like, you want love. You really, 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 really do. So the way the universe works is you get what you focus on. 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 So if I'm focusing on love, guess what? The universe has to give me more situations and reasons to experience and feel love. Whereas if I'm focusing on problems, or, oh, that guy did that to me, or the government this, or that, you know, if you're focused on problems at all, if you're speaking negatively about anybody at all or anyone at all, no matter how justified it feels, you are in the wrong, and you are literally just magnetizing not desirable things to yourself. That's the only thing you're doing. You're not fixing that person, you're not helping the world, you're just bringing in things that you don't want to yourself. And it's really important to look at that, because you realize by being chaotic with your thoughts, you're only hurting you. But by being resonant with your thoughts, you are enriching yourself, and you're enriching others around you in a really, really huge way. Because when you step into that true universal love, and we're not talking like relationship love, like, oh Dante, nobody else can touch you, go away, nobody can touch you, Dante. Right? No.
That wouldn't work.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's touching.
I'm polyamorous.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, but actually, and but I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that.
I have enough love for everyone.
I'm glad you said that, because it's totally relevant to the understanding that universal love is not a monogamous concept. Universal love is completely neutral. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing, I adore you. That's universal love. Oh, feeling of adoration. Oh, I love you. And for some people, that's a huge jump. And for people like me who've been practicing momentum, it's easy. I see people, I give them a hug, I look into their eyes, and I tell them I adore them. And what happens is their timelines go like this. Because they're like, oh, oh, that little bit of pressure of not feeling loved was just released. It was released from a physical person, which is not ideal, but at least it was released. Ideally, you get that release from your own source, but sometimes we need some training wheels, and that's why people like Dante and I exist. So we can just like be overflowing
with love continuously. I just like, when you smile, your brain responds, even if there's nothing to be happy about. And on some level, faking it is, if you're not expressing how you really feel, you can't fake smile your way into happiness. But just like light up a grin on your face and start walking down the street. Notice what happens. And look everybody in the eye. Like when I'm really tapped in, and I try to be as much as I am as often as I am. More of the time than not at this point. I just like let that natural joy shine through and visualize light going to people and holding my hands out as these beacons and radiating light energy. But
it's so good.
Though love takes momentum, and when you're in that state, really people respond to you. You get gifts. Like I have gotten gifted into festivals and gifted through festivals.
Dude, yes.
Just by being like really shiny and happy.
I have to add to this because my first music festival was actually this year. It was Lucidity, and it was amazing because I had already actually done a lot of inner work before I even came to my first festival, which is great because now I'm interacting with all these random people from a really, really powerful state. And what you just said resonated so deeply with my experience of these last couple festivals. Because what will happen is I'll go up to random people. The first 3 festivals I volunteered and they put me at the front gate, which was like the best decision for that festival ever. Because like literally every single person who came to the festival had to go through me, and I would stop them. I would literally stop them and make them like touch me or interact with me in some way. And like if I didn't talk to them about extraterrestrials or advanced technology, I talked to them about love, or I talked to them about how much they are excellent and how valuable they are. And like even if they think I'm crazy or like they're not in my vibe, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because what I'm doing is I'm projecting a neutral baseline love frequency. It's like watering a plant that doesn't even know it's dry. And it's like, oh, why are you watering me? And it's like, don't worry about it. I'm just gonna keep watering you, buddy. And if they're open, they're gonna receive a lot more. And some people are super, super, super open. And that's why he just inspired me, because he said that the people will get a prize. You'll get a prize if you love someone. And it's so true. So these people would come up to me, and some of them would be like really chaotic energy or really like sealed off energy, and they're walking up to me like this, like behind a wall, and I just walk up to them like completely like the wall is irrelevant, it's not there, and even if it is there and I'm hitting up against it, I'm just like so consistent with my love that the shell's gonna break. And what I found is that the people who had the hardest shells would often give me the biggest prize. And by prize, I don't mean like, oh, you loved me, here's this secret thing I was holding in my back pocket. No, I mean like they're feeling super resistant and dense and just in their own mind, and you consistently add love or whatever they need, and it's different for each person, and Source will tell you the words. But when you get that crack in the egg, you can see it and feel it in their emotional body, because they were like this, and then whenever it happens, maybe I said something really silly, or maybe I touched them in just such a way, and then they just look at me like you're crazy. But that like one little thing, that was the break, and then they're smiling, and then they're like wanting to touch me, and then they're like, oh, tell me more, And so people walk up to me, and like I see their timelines, right? They walk up to me, their timelines are like this is the shittest timeline possible, and this is like the best possible timeline for their life, right? And then they meet us, and it's just like all these potentialities just blossom like that, and you can feel like the weight like lifting, like this intense levity, like it's almost like they were so heavy, and they come in and it's just like oh, this is so great. And it's so simple, and like the information can be transmitted in moments. So that's what we're doing now. And this is just the beginning, and you'll want to jump into both of our other videos after you watch this for sure, because we're just fleshing out a lot of these amazing concepts and creating like a ton of value for a lot of people to be able to come. And one of the most peaceful and amazing things I learned from one of my teachers, which is Abraham Hicks, shout out to Esther, love you, was this whole concept of magnetizing. and realizing like I don't need to go out and like get the people. I don't need to go out and achieve anything, because I'm going to magnetize everything I need, and that's how I'm going to achieve everything.
Yeah. And you were talking a lot about momentum, so
yeah,
that's a good concept to bring up to people as well.
Yeah.
Because it really is like this cumulative force. The more you put that energy out, the more it comes back, and you just have to stay with the momentum. And once the ball gets rolling, it's amazing, but it has to start somewhere. So I think it's very fun to share our own process of how we get to this place, because somebody who's like living in fear or like looking away from everyone as they're walking instead of like looking them in the eye and smiling can't just start like to be like, okay, go outside now and
immediately
smile,
start loving everyone.
Love everybody, hug everyone.
No, we don't expect you to do that.
We can't get there.
We don't expect you to do that because there is too much of a gap.
So
how do we bridge the gap?
Where did the momentum start for you?
How do we bridge?
When did you start getting this love flow?
Sure. How do we bridge the gap? For me personally, and it's going to be different for everyone, but for me, what really started to activate me was excitement about the potentials of the universe. And I know I'm different than a lot of people, and I'm very, very oriented on the universe, the macro universe, and how it connects to the micro universe. But for me, it was really like what really gets you to tap into that true excitement.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there was things I liked before, but it wasn't until I really started to consider like the realness of the potentiality of extraterrestrials and advanced civilizations out in the universe, and also interacting with this planet in the past, that started to really get my momentum going. And even though it wasn't like I didn't like jump to some perfect blissful state right away, it got the ball rolling, and it got it rolling in a really powerful way. And so that's really exciting. So yeah, my advice for someone who's just getting started, who's hearing these words and is saying like, man, how do I make that jump from where I'm at to where you guys are? It's actually really simple. And it's not about like taking this big, massive step, because if you try to make a big, massive step, it's going to be too difficult. You're not going to do it. So it's about taking little steps, but consistently taking little steps. And the little step is this: I want to feel good. I want to be in alignment with the source of my consciousness.
Absolutely.
They mean the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
counterbalance to that, it's to not escape from anything either. Because I don't know about you, but I don't always feel good.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Definitely don't always feel good.
You have to have your contrast.
In fact, sometimes when I started to get to these more blissful places, deeper, heavier emotions than I ever felt before would start to arise.
Yep.
And even now, throughout the day, there's these moments where it's like, oh, this is really contracted. Oh, this is really shitty. Oh, I'm really not loving myself right now.
There's this song that we did at this festival. We did a workshop with Mom Muse, who, if you've never heard of Mom Muse, go look up their music right now. Some of the most amazing white magic, enlightened lyrics ever. But we did like a song singing workshop here with these amazing goddesses, and one of the lyrics in their song singing workshop was dig deep. It was like, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper, dig a little deeper. You got to dig deep to let the joy come out. And it was from this really amazing man who makes a lot of music like that, and he basically said exactly the same thing, which is, you literally are not going to be able to find your intense power place and your intense places of joy until you've experienced the intense places of contrast and defeat and depression and just all of that nastiness. And I've been there. I know Dante's been there. So it's not all airy-fairy. Like, we need to stress that. Like, contrast is so important. It's not about being love and light every single moment of the day. That's not how this works. You know, we're in a dynamic state, and we're dynamic beings, and everything is waves, and the waves are moving, and if you try to keep the wave to stay at a crest all the time, guess what? You're creating artificial energy that doesn't serve the whole universe. You need to be able to ride the waves. Like, oh, I'm feeling amazing right now. When you're feeling amazing, milk it. If something happens that's amazing, be like, that thing was amazing. Talk about it. Tell your friends about that thing that was amazing. If something that you don't like happens, it basically didn't happen. unless you need to unpack some things. If you need to digest some things, then you should actually talk about
Every
it.
bad thing that happens is really a manifestation of separation.
Yeah.
It's like we move back and forth between feeling very connected, feeling less connected. And every time we feel more connected, we essentially realize that we've always been connected. And when we feel less connected, we get to that core trauma of like, what is it that has made us feel disconnected from source? Were we abandoned by our parents? Were we made wrong for a certain quality within ourselves? Were we really traumatized by something? And all of the manifestations are really a manifestation of the exact same stupid little thing. And when we can like look at that and in that moment, just let ourselves feel that way. Let ourselves feel that way without believing that there's anything wrong with the feeling, wrong about ourselves, wrong about how another person responds to us, and instead to say, cool, I love that.
And by doing that, you're naturally releasing the resistance. That's so powerful.
Yeah.
So feel what you're feeling, and you don't have to like keep going into it and saying like, oh, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. He's saying, if you're feeling off, don't try to like say, oh, I'm not feeling off, don't worry about it, guys. Be like, hey guys, I'm feeling off, I should probably just take a moment for myself and like get back in the flow. You know what I mean? Or maybe you're alone and you're feeling off and you're just dealing with your own mind and you know all this stuff and maybe you're thinking like, oh, I don't want to feel off, you know what I mean? I want to be in a high vibration. That's actually going to shoot yourself in the foot. If you're feeling off, you need to just really sink into it, but don't milk it. Sink into it, be like, I feel off right now. How do I want to feel? Acknowledge it and say how you want to feel, right? And by doing that and not, what he said is so key, not judging yourself and not becoming upset that you're feeling off, because when you do that, when you recognize what you're doing in a neutral space, then the vibration literally in that moment naturally releases. It's this concept of a cork. Imagine a cork. Corks float. If you pull a cork out of a wine bottle and put it in some water, it's going to float at the top, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you hold that cork under the water, it'll stay under the water, but you have to hold it, right? Mm-hmm. It's gonna go to the top when I release it, right? Yeah. This analogy is so powerful for humanity because it's directly related to how our energy systems work. Most people are going throughout their day with the cork held under the water at least a little bit. Some of them are like holding it down so far and they're so struggling and things are so hard and everybody's so mean and and then people like us, sometimes we just let the cork go and it just floats to the top. And then like, oh, everything's working out. This is so interesting. Oh, that thing that I needed, now I have. Oh, that connection that I wanted, now I have. Oh, that circumstance that I wanted, now it's being presented to me. And it's all about good timing. And nobody can teach you good timing because good timing is determined by your source. But we can teach you how to tap into your source better. Mm-hmm. And then you can get good timing. You see what I'm saying? So once you kind of see the value in all this, you realize why it's so important to focus on love, or maybe not even love, just any vibration that feels good. I like to bring up puppies to people who are just getting into this. I like to be like, how do you feel when I talk about puppies? Talk about puppies.
Love. Yeah.
You see the little ears, and the little nose, and the little furry, and he just doesn't even know what's going on. He can barely walk. He's just like, and yeah, and you just like, it's like I don't need anything from this puppy. Aww. This puppy, I can't really receive anything except for love. This puppy is certainly not a threat. Like the only emotion I have towards him is just like, I appreciate you. I just
could rip up your shoes.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at, is the primary emotion that you're emitting when you're around a puppy or kitten or whatever is just like, ah. Right? You see people do it. They're like, ah. And that is the fucking answer to everything. That feeling. If you could just be like, ah. You ever see a dog, when a dog's like focused on something, like, and all of a sudden they just are like, okay, I don't need to focus on anything, and then they just go. Practice that. Powerful. White magic. White magic.
Surrendering to what is like surrendering to what you're feeling. Totally. Wow. I think we can appreciate it though. Mm-hmm. Like the more you get, it's like you build this reflex that like, oh, I'm feeling bad, but I can still appreciate it. I can still appreciate knowing that this is like a contrast between the up and the down part of it, that if I really surrender to this and appreciate that, oh, I'm getting this experience and clearing out this pattern more. I'm getting this experience of what it's like when I choose to focus on lack, or whatever sense of lack or not enough or I'm not enough that brought you to feel that way. If you just surrender to it, that feeling comes so easily. And it's yeah, I think my experience has been the less I need to get into a state or think that in order to present or share or connect with someone or create something that I have to be in a certain state.
I have to do something and then
something, feel the right way, look the right way, achieve the right way, whatever, present it the right way, be the right way, feel the right way. I have to feel the right way before. That's one of the biggest traps. And my experience with that has been sometimes like, oh, I'm just going to go inside more to figure this out and clear this out. And there's so many layers of this. There's so many ways that I've tried to do this, and I realized, oh, that way of trying to clear it out by figuring it out doesn't work. But I'll just let go of resistance, and then the ego creates a new way to go inside and clear it out instead. And I get more and more to this place of like, oh, I don't have to clear anything out because nothing's wrong and everything's perfect. And I think the realization of real love and real admiration and the puppy kind of feeling really is like everything is already perfect, regardless of how much pain, regardless of how much loss, regardless of how much not getting what you want. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yes, and as you resonate that,
yeah,
you're literally magnetizing that in a totally different way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I'm saying like, oh, things are kind of off, but they'll be good someday, which a lot of light workers are thinking and feeling that. If you're listening to this and you're a light worker and you're thinking, oh, things are going to be really good soon, you're literally tuning the earth poorly. Because you're putting this, you're helping put a carrot on a stick. You know what I mean? Which, so in the simplest way we can not do that is just by focusing consistently on love, because love is multidimensional, love is non-linear.
What can I love about this moment? What can I love about this connection? What can I love about sharing this space with you? What can I love about where I am or what I'm doing? Everything. Like, if you just bring yourself to focus on the best aspects, the most enjoyable aspects, so intently present in all of the pleasure that is this life, things will change. It's so good.
I can't say anything better than that. I think the video's over now.
I think it's over. I've really enjoyed making it. Bye everyone.
Love you so much.
Love you so much.